All right, everybody, we are back here with a good friend and longtime member, Heidi Weiss. And these are my favorite when we bring actual real people onto the show to talk about their unique stories. We were talking about how everybody has a unique story, but when you think of like yourself and you just think you're just going through life, but there's actually cool little nuggets that are worth sharing. I think Heidi's is actually really cool, and we're going to unpack that a little bit more. So Heidi's been with us for a long time. I'm trying to think when you first started. It's like 10, maybe 9 years ago.
I think it was probably, could be. I was going to say 7, but usually if I guess 7, it's really 10.
So exactly, it compresses.
Yeah.
And then COVID came and we all kind of went our own ways. And then you got back in here end of 2023, I think is when it was, right?
Yes.
Got it, yeah. So long time AFS member, Heidi. And Heidi's personal story is actually really cool too, because Heidi emerged into the coaching space not like when you were 20. It was kind of like a midlife type of transition. So there's a lot of cool insights to glean there. So I actually kind of want to start there with you, and then we'll talk about health and fitness and all that. But yeah, give the listeners and the watchers a little origin story on Heidi and how you actually got into just the coaching space as a whole.
Sure, I'd love to. So it really started for me, I first heard about coaching when I was several years into my first career.
Mm-hmm.
I was probably in my early 30s then. And my first career was in information technology and data analysis. So, which I loved. And it was
Did you?
I did.
I can't picture you at all doing anything. Data
analysis. So funny. It's another whole side of me that I really got to enjoy thoroughly in that first career for, about 15 years.
Yeah.
And didn't even anticipate wanting to leave it. I worked at the University of Michigan, and I worked, I had opportunities to grow and change departments and explore, what was possible, how I could grow within that field. And then toward my mid to late 30s, which still sounds so young to me now.
Why? Because you're 37 now?
Because I'm 37, 20 times over. So some things started to change in my life. I was still interested in work. I had taken a year and a half off to be a full-time mom when Talia was born. Mm-hmm. And then when I came back to work, I was fortunate enough to have a half-time position. So I had kind of the best of both worlds. I was able to work, and I was able to have as much time parenting as I wanted, and that was wonderful. But coming back to it after having had that break, it did put a new perspective on things. Mm-hmm. And then also there were just some circumstances. It was like the perfect little storm of non-life-threatening but significant health issue for myself. Which was hard to diagnose, not scary in the end. My jaw was out of alignment. Yeah. And I was having all kinds of symptoms, and it was hard to figure out what it was. Eventually found out what that was, but it slowed me down. Mm-hmm. And then I also, at the same time, someone very dear to me, a family member, was nearing end of life. And that put opened up a new lens for me. So it's sort of like, it's just really was life changing, right? Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so at the same time, I started to hear from people, coworkers, friends, saying to me after we had a conversation, "Oh, thank you, I feel so much better after talking with you," or "Thank you." And people even started to use the word coach with me, like, "Thank you for coaching me." Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh, is that what I'm doing? Is that what I'm doing? And so I also had a mentor at the university who a few years before that, had planted a seed with me. She said, I really see you as a coach. You might want to dismiss this right now. Here's a book about it. And I thought, me? And
do you remember what the book was?
no, and I wish I still had that one. It was, and that would have been in the early 90s.
Okay. Got it.
I mean, so coaching was pretty young then as a field. I'll try to, if I find out what it was.
That'd be cool.
Yeah. So anyway, this sort of inklings of, maybe there's something else that I want to do. So as my health started to improve, my jaw was healing, I was getting more of my energy back, and I just started to get curious. Like, what if I could do something different? What would it be? And so I left, stepped quietly away from my career at the university, and started work as a professional organizer, which was amazing. Professional
organizer?
Yes.
What does that entail? I feel like I need one.
Oh, it's so cool. Everyone needs one. So I was helping people organize the things in their homes or in their home businesses.
Oh, yeah.
So you know how life is. It just gets so busy.
Yeah. Everything's thrown in the closet.
Right. So helping people to learn to create their own systems, to keep things organized, just organized enough.
Yeah.
So that they could live in the way that they wanted to. And what I began to hear, again, from my organizing clients was, wow, I can't believe I can do this. I can't believe I can organize. But you know, Heidi, I feel like you're more than my organizer. I feel like you're my coach. I feel like you're my life coach.
There's that word again.
So it just kept coming back to me, and I thought, how interesting. And then I started hanging out with some coaches. Actually, some of our amazing coaches that we have here, like Nan. And
oh, yeah.
Nan, Eleni. I hadn't yet met Maria, but.
Okay.
And they basically said, well, you need to start coming to our monthly coaching hangout because you're probably a good organizer, but we all see you as a coach. So I learned from them, like, how did they become a coach? And so after some time hanging out with them, I realized this might be that thing that I just do so naturally, but that I could pursue. Mm-hmm. And so that's what I did. I went and got certified, took the time, put in the reps.
Yeah.
And now that was a little more than 10 years later.
Wild.
And
this is life coaching, correct?
Life coaching.
Certified life coach.
Yes.
And like, who's in need of a life coach? Who's coming to knock on your door?
Oh gosh, yeah. Who's not?
Yeah. Maybe that's the better question.
No, it's so life coaching is great for people when they are doing pretty well in their life, but they're feeling kind of stuck. Mm-hmm. They know they're not really stuck, so they might be bumping up against something in career. Either they want to grow or they want to change in career, or they're just feeling flat about it. And the same thing could be for relationships, mm-hmm. parenting, anything in life where, I guess it's when people start to feel a bit flat, like they're okay, but they know they want more out of life.
Yeah.
But they don't want more of the same of what they've been doing.
Mm-hmm.
So does that give you a sense of...
It does, yeah. To your point, I think everybody needs that at some point in their life, right? To somebody to pull out. I mean, like we do with coaching around health. And I tell this to so many people. And so many people come into our space thinking they're going to learn a bunch of new things. They're going to acquire new knowledge that is going to change their health. And I tell them, I'm like, listen, you might learn like a little bit about, like, you're going to know how to execute your exercise a little bit better, but that's really not going to manifest into this whole life change. Really, what will help you do is pull the knowledge that you already have into action on your own accord and intrinsically. And they'll get through the end of that process and be like, I kind of felt like I was doing all the work, or I was doing all the change. And I'm like, yeah, that's how it should feel. You did it. Mm-hmm. But yes, I mean, especially with relationships, I feel like that's the part with, someone like you, life coaching, having somebody there to navigate those emotionally high stakes situations. Mm-hmm. At least for me personally, like, I feel like that's where things can get muddy, because now it's like I am struggling with this emotional thing that I can't even articulate.
Right. And yet you're in the middle of it. Mm-hmm. And where do I go? And yeah, coaching is perfect for that because it's a safe place.
Yeah.
It's confidential. And coaching is not about advice. It's about holding a space for your client to be able to really, I think of it as kind of softening into your strength. Mm-hmm. Like in our daily lives, we're just trying to be better, be more, be all that we can be, and we're operating maybe not always consciously according to expectations that might not fit us anymore mm-hmm. and where we want to be mm-hmm. going. And so coaching allows people to kind of slow things down and listen in, because that's where the best wisdom is. We're so used to looking outside of ourselves.
Yeah.
And when we can begin to listen in and have that space, and then consider different kinds of questions to ask ourselves. So mm-hmm. when it's kind of like with growing into strength at AFS, it really does end up being more about who we're becoming. Mm-hmm. Right? So we think it's going to be, if I do this, or I set this goal, and then I do the right actions, and I take the right steps, and I do it the right way, then I'm going to be okay again. And for sure, having a good plan and having the reps and doing the reps and having the structure all move us into that. But kind of like you were saying with your, my fellow AFS members, we got each kind of learn it in our own way, right? Mm-hmm. Is that what we get is more of ourselves and clarity about who we're becoming and why, and realize that I'm choosing this for myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that makes sense. The inward listening, I think, is really interesting. And me personally, like, I will drive to seek external information and consume knowledge and content to help me go to the next step or solve a problem. But yeah, there are little moments where you have that peace and space to listen inward. I love that. I feel like there needs to be more conversation around that versus go externally driven to consume things. It's like, no, dude, you might actually have it all right in there. You just got to take a little time, chill out, listen in. I like that, the listen in. That's good.
Well, and, coaching at its best, from my perspective, really is about helping people ask themselves questions that are like higher quality questions. So instead of what's going wrong or why is that person doing that, or why am I doing this? And there's a lot of judgment in that. Mm-hmm. And often self-judgment, which is okay. That's part of life too. But I think what happens when we create this neutral space that also has like potential there, potential without expectation, I guess. Mm-hmm. Then it's sort of like all of the shoulds. They're still there. Like, you can go back to your shoulds. if you need them or if you want them. But if we can just let go of those shoulds long enough, that's where being able to listen in, not just to our brains, but to our hearts and to what would be more true.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's one of the things I love about coaching. People are surprised at the breakthroughs that they have. It's similar, actually, what you were saying before. They often, at first, attribute their kind of breakthroughs in awareness, or, I know what I need to do. I know what I want to do. They'll attribute it to me or to working with a coach, and certainly that helps. But it's all coming from them.
Yeah. They're doing the work. They just got activated.
Yes.
By working with you. I'm trying to think of the book that you gave me right before, maybe it was 2018 or 2019, and then I actually did it during COVID.
Oh, did you?
Yes, it was the.
Was it the Desire Map?
The Desire Map. Yes, it was the Desire Map. That was great. For anybody that's listening, watching, I forget the author, but I did the workbook.
Yes.
And it was basically kind of like this life manifestation, inward experience that was all kind of prompted through the roadmap, and there was a lot of writing involved, which was a perfect time. I'm like, dude, it's 2020. I don't know what's going to happen in a month. But I remember doing that at home, and that was like really illuminating.
Yes. Oh, I'm so glad.
Yeah, that was great. That was awesome.
Served you well. Yeah, that was the Desire Map by Danielle Laporte. And I still use that, and some of the exercises from that. One of the main concepts that comes from that is that our greatest clarity comes from knowing how we want to feel, which is really easy to ignore. In the busyness of life, and when we're setting expectations and setting goals and comparing ourselves to others, and am I progressing in the ways that I should be, that I want to be? And that can kind of take on a life of its own. It's a fun time of life, like when you're starting a new career or starting a family, or as we kind of progress in adulthood, all that stuff can kind of go on autopilot.
Yeah.
Which is okay too. But one of the main concepts from the Desire Map is giving yourself the clarity of knowing how you want to feel. And almost like, when you would choose core values,
mm-hmm.
you can choose core feelings. Like, how do I most want to feel being me in this world?
Yeah. Yeah, you don't think about that too much. It's like your feelings are kind of like a byproduct of your circumstances.
Right,
like
right.
You don't think you really have control over your feelings. They just happen.
Yeah. And one of the reasons that getting clear about how you want to feel can be so helpful is because then you don't have to wait until your goal is achieved.
Yeah.
To feel. So when we're setting a goal of any type, it could be health goal, personal goal, relationship goal. When we envision ourselves with those results, it is the results that we want, but it's also, it's going to feel this and this and this.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm going to feel accomplished. I'm going to feel, empowered, whatever the feelings are.
Yeah.
I'm going to feel connected.
Mm-hmm.
And the beauty in looking at what those desired feelings are is that you can know that's how I want to feel, and how can I feel that way today?
Yeah.
On the journey toward, you don't have to wait.
Yeah. Yeah, that's it's a profound mental model shift. Mm-hmm. And I also think it could spring action. Like, to your story, you came back in 2023 not feeling super hot. There was a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff we had to navigate, especially with your physical health.
Yes, and I can't thank you enough.
But that was a time. That was kind of a challenging time for you. Tell us, I guess, tell us about that time and what sparked you back into the work, at least with like the physical health, and why that matters now and how it impacts the work that you do. Because you got to pour into yourself. Like you can't be helping others if you're all broken and
Yeah.
in pieces.
Yeah, for sure. So, so true. So there was the break. So I was at AFS 7 years ago, 10 years ago. And then there was time off during COVID. And in that time, I was experiencing, it's not like I had a big accident and an injury. I just had a gradual decline in some aspects of my physical health. And mostly it was pain in my back and my hips and my feet. And it was the kind of pain that was really slowing me down.
Yeah.
And it wasn't, but it was also not so acute that, so I kind of, what was I doing? Pretending it wasn't happening? Ignoring it.
Sweeping it under the rug.
Yeah, and I had all these reasons why, well, I'll go to physical therapy later. It's not more important than, there were some really important other things that took my time during that time. So I was caring for family members who really needed it. And I was parenting, and I was, mostly making excuses is what it seems like now. But also it wasn't so horrible, but then it kept not getting better. So yeah, I was in pain, and I toward the end of 2023, I guess we're saying it was, yeah. Then I made my way to physical therapy.
Yep.
And got some progress there. And then my physical therapist, during that time when I was having pain and discomfort, I was also listening to a lot of podcasts about health and aging. What are the ways that people can age that are vibrant? Like what's possible for me? Because I think that I was feeling my age, and I'm not that old. I'm 57 and a half.
And a half.
But that's older than I'd have ever been before. And I had never had something like back pain or whatever before. And so I could kind of feel, I think I'm at a choice point for myself. Mm-hmm. And so I chose physical therapy. And then I knew, because I had listened to some podcasts, well, and just from having been here before. When I was here before, I didn't do strength.
That's right.
I was only doing fitness, right?
You were doing circuit training.
Yes.
That's right.
Perhaps I would have avoided all of that back pain.
Perhaps if we could rewind tapes. Yes.
And yet, the transition from physical therapy to AFS couldn't have been better. So
yeah, Dr. Dave.
And then you guys really created my first programs for me. It was almost like PT plus.
Yeah.
Like so that I wouldn't re-injure. And so that's a bit of the journey. And I can't believe, I knew it was going to work.
Yeah.
But and I actually started in January 2024 because it was a birthday present from me.
Oh, that's
to
right.
me.
That's right.
I gave
remember,
myself,
yeah.
for my birthday, I was like, this is what I want more than anything, is to start up at AFS, and I think this can work.
Yeah.
So, and now it's a year and a half later, and I can't believe how strong I am.
I love that. How did the strength change, like physically, right? Yes, you're out of pain, or pain management is better. You're lifting weights. You're doing things maybe that you weren't able to do. How does that influence life outside of the gym?
It's everything. Especially because my starting point, so when I was in physical therapy, I'm not too proud to tell you that like my daily living, like I really did let it get to the point where I couldn't put my shoes on without lying on my back in a certain way. Like getting dressed was hard and
Yeah.
precarious. And I remember like doing groceries. I could carry one light bag at a time. And then no judgment on any of that. Yet it also really was not. So my life outside of here, my daily life, was really much more physically uncomfortable, and then that's kind of painful.
Yeah.
Like, emotionally.
It wasn't you.
It didn't feel like me. No, right, and it wasn't me. But thankfully, that depleted me showed up enough to get me here.
Yeah.
So now, I feel like I don't want my physical therapist to hear this, but I can carry 3 bags of. I am carrying 3 bags of groceries,
Right.
and I
Right.
can do all the gardening I want to do. Like, my life outside of here is just. I want to say it's better than it's been in a couple decades in terms of how I can move, what I can do.
Yeah, I forget when we talked about this, but you mentioned, and I know strength training is a big part of it, but you're doing other things in the health sphere where you felt like you were aging backwards. Like you felt like you were getting younger. This is probably a couple months ago.
Oh, that's right.
We're talking about it after one of your sessions.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a pretty unique feeling. So if you're telling somebody that's like, hey, Heidi, I want to age backwards,
Sure.
what would you say to them?
Let me think about that. I mean, in
You
some
remember
ways
this-
it feels like it snuck up on me, but of course it didn't. I think that for me, we think aging is this linear thing, or that there's a path, like a preordained path where we're younger and then like we're aging, we get stronger and stronger and can do more things, and then there's the decline. And not to deny what is natural and true of a human being in a body through a lifetime, and at the same time, it's not quite as just predetermined as it seems like it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm really lucky. I've had generally good health. But like the first time that I remember aging backward was back just before I left the university when I was still working there. And I was having problems with my jaw. And I had all these symptoms that were not obvious jaw problems. There was really heavy fatigue. There was lightheadedness, all of these things. And I had to really slow down. And that's when I first started listening into my body, and I tried everything. So
Yeah.
I tried acupuncture, I tried massage, I tried craniosacral therapy, and they were all amazing, but they all put me more in touch with my own body and my own energy. And as I started to heal from that, I started to feel younger. So at the worst point of that, and perhaps maybe when we're feeling physically our worst, we can feel what we would think of as older. Or
Yeah, that tracks.
And especially if it lasts for a while, it's like, oh, is this how it's going to be going forward?
Mm-hmm.
And that sort of starts to shut down in our minds and our hearts. It can. Things like motivation or like a way of thinking about or envisioning the future that involves being active and, moving a lot, because what if that's not going to happen? Yet, the body's amazing in its ability to heal. And so another thing that I did when I was having trouble with my back was listening to podcasts or, watching on YouTube stories of people who were had gone through health challenges and were so strong at 81 years old. She is.
Oh, yeah.
Look at her. And so like that, like just being able to be exposed to, she did it and she's 81 and I'm only, at the time I was 55. I was like, hey, if I can, it might take me 25 years, which it didn't because I came to AFS. But if I can be that version of 81 when I'm 81, or even when I'm 60 would be great. Mm-hmm. It sort of feels like aging backward.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, I think, again, wiring your relationship with age and not having it be this linear, preordained path where you have no control is powerful. And to your point, like, yes, getting out of pain in the context of like physical health, like if you become stronger, that will definitely mitigate pain. If you go see a physical therapist to get things, recalibrated and then have an intentional plan afterwards to cement it in. Yes, your physical health can keep you doing things that you were doing at 30 and 40 when you're 80. There was a researcher out of Miami. He's probably in his late 70s, but he studies aging adult strength and function and like vitality. And there are studies where like people are just starting a strength training program at 80 and 90 and even 100. And they show signs of actually improved function.
Wow.
Even starting that late, which is incredible. But the real thing is like, hey, okay, if you could have improved function at that stage, imagine what you can do when you're 50. If you just start at 50, or if you're younger and you're listening to this and you're 30 and you are prioritizing your health, man, what that can do for your health span, it compounds. So
it changes everything.
Yeah. And it makes you feel younger, like you're aging backwards when you can do things at 70 that your 70-year-old counterparts can't.
Yeah. And it's funny, I have been thinking about aging and how we live in maybe not the whole world, but we live in a society and a culture that is really anti-aging.
Yeah, it is anti-aging.
And it's easy to just kind of buy into that aging is bad and then it means this or that and to associate it with decline.
Mm-hmm.
And there is the reality of chronological aging, like the years pass and eventually bodies do slow down more, except if you just accept that aging is bad. I'm still on myself, like every week I'm noticing, okay, where am I still being kind of ageist?
Yeah,
in ways that really aren't, there's not an upside to it. Well, and AFS is great too, because there are people who are, members who are right about my age. A lot of people are right about my age. Plenty of people a little bit younger. Plenty of people, older than I am. And especially when I first started here, I remember thinking, oh, if I could just get to be that strong. Like, the inspiration is kind of remarkable here. And people are just living their own best lives and they're devoted to their strength and their fitness here for whatever their reasons are. But it helps me see what's possible. Like, I would never look at the members here who are, in their 60s or 70s or 80s and think, well, they're old. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's, and so like, they're, to me, they're vibrant, they're kind, they're bright, they're awesome people to know. And
Yeah.
I think, oh, that's possible. If that's aging, I'm in.
That's so cool. That's such a cool observation. Our community is unique in that way, where it is a little bit of an older community relative to fitness. And we did the survey last year, where we surveyed psychographics, demographics with our membership, and 2/3 of our members, it was, I believe it was 60 and up. Maybe it was 55. It was 55 and up. That was 2/3
Yeah.
of the membership. 1/3 was 65 and beyond, which in the remaining third was like, 40s, and then like a small amount of, people in the 30s. So you go to Crunch or other fitness studios, it's kind of not the case. It's typically like younger, fit people. And for people that come here, or people that are on the fence of starting a fitness health plan, they'll go to those places and they're like, dude, I don't know if I belong. I see a bunch of young kids, and I don't really see anybody thriving in my state or me in 10, 15 years. But when you do come here, you do see those people that are thriving in their 60s and 70s. And I also think it's interesting. I feel like people here are anchoring their health journey towards that feeling that you described. Like rarely people are coming in here trying to get a six pack for the beach.
Yeah.
It's more about, hey, when I want to go and move and travel and garden and not feel pain, or like I got grandkids coming and I want to be able to when they want me to. And I think that's really inspiring. That breeds like a more positive relationship around this whole process when you have other people in it with you with kind of similar beliefs and values and alignment on why they're doing it.
Another thing that I loved about starting strength training here, and why I knew, even when when I was having trouble and before PT, I was like, I'm going to get to AFS and I'm going to start the strength training. And I just had like eyes on the prize, like one step at a time. And one of the reasons I knew that I wanted to do that here is because I had never lifted weights before.
Yeah.
I mean, I just hadn't done it. I mean, a little bit of barbells at home and not dumbbells at home and stuff like that. But I hadn't really done that. And I liked that I knew I could come here and show up as, a then 56-year-old beginner. Like, I have no idea how to do this, but I will learn, and knew that not only would there be great programs written for me, because, I knew there's no way I'd be able to write.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say never be able to, but I didn't want to get injured. I wanted to get strong and to know that the support was here, the structure was here, and that I could get stronger safely.
Yeah.
So, and all of that has, of course, I don't want to brag about how strong I am now.
I love it.
But I feel so strong, and everything that I needed was here.
I love it. People that are watching, listening, even our current members, they are more on the fence of moving forward with their health. It's not a consistent thing, or there's a little trepidation around starting.
Yeah.
If they were sitting right there, what would you say to them to encourage positive movement?
It's different for each of us. I would say you are amazing, even just for being here once. And that you can do it, and you'll find your own ways to make the most of what's here. Really, ultimately, I would say be open to being a beginner. Because even if you've done this before, you've never done this at this version of you before. You really do have everything you need. And if you can be consistent, that's probably the most important thing, honestly. And eventually, like, you can borrow inspiration from the people around you here. And then over time, you'll become your own inspiration. Like,
is that where you are now?
kind of is. Like, I am always going to take inspiration from wherever I see it. But I think that's one of my favorite things, I think, is that I'm really grateful to myself for staying consistent. For me, it was different. I think because I wanted so badly to be able to get here, and I knew I had a vision for what I wanted for myself, that I just wanted to be strong. I wanted to be able to, take road trips with my daughter. I wanted to be able to, help my neighbors move their furniture, or,
Yep.
and just have fun being
Yep.
me. And that when I started, I'm lucky in some ways because I was just so devoted, because I had to wait to get here. But I think that there are setbacks that are going to happen on your journey. There were for mine. Like, I got a little bit of golfer's elbow and never lifted a golf club. But so I had to listen to my trainers and slow things down a little. But each time you go through and past one of those obstacles, you're just even stronger. So it's worth it. You're totally worth it.
Love that. Awesome. Well, Heidi, thank you for taking time to share wisdom. And I know your personal story is powerful enough, but also having that perception and awareness that comes from the coaching work you do, I think makes things a little bit more palatable, or penetrates more to people's heart and soul. So appreciate your time.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you for AFS. And I just look forward to so many more years and decades here. Everything is possible.
Love it. And that's our show for today. Thank you so much for sticking around, watching, learning. If you extracted some value, please share this with your friends and family. You can also click the subscribe link. I believe if you're on the Spotifys and Apples and you're listening to this, there's a subscribe link at the bottom of the episode. If you're watching on YouTube, bottom right of this video, you can click subscribe to stay up to date on the latest episodes. Thank you again for joining us on this episode. And with that being said, be well, stay connected, and take care of your health.